Hey babes,
Hey, how you doing, Deb?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Again, crazy times again.
All right.
Yeah, yeah,
What's
yeah.
been what's been going on your neck of the woods? Like, what's been crazy for you?
Well, I had a crazy birthday party.
Oh, good. Yay! Happy birthday! Happy
Thank
birthday
you.
to you.
Thank
Bless
you.
you. Did you have a
And
good time?
that was fun. Yeah, yeah. I had a really good time. At first, I was a bit like, oh, I don't really want to celebrate. And then I was just like, no, I'm going to celebrate and be playful and get my inner
Yeah,
child out and have
yeah,
fun and be stupid and silly and surround myself with people that will not judge me, And yeah,
yeah.
so it was fun. It was super fun.
Oh,
And
fabulous.
apart from that, yeah, I've been kind of up and down with the whole Ascension symptoms and everything that's going on in the world. How about
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Well, you remember my dreams? I had 3 consecutive nights of dreaming, right? I did briefly go into it into the last video we did. So the first one was seeing shit in the system, right? That was on me because it was on the back of my trousers. I mean, you can flip back if anyone's just tuning in now. We should say hi to everyone. We never do that. We just go hi to each other. Hi, everyone.
Hey everyone. If you're sitting there, whatever you're doing, cooking or just like, listening or bored or just have a little listen to our conversations because they're super fun. And, join us on Bella Emotions if you wish to find out more or kind of keep in contact with us. And we normally just chat about stuff that's happening or stuff that's relevant to all of us on this planet at the moment.
Yeah, real
So I
stuff.
think we just help humanity with our words, really, and with our connection and with our energy.
Yay, indeed. So dreams, yes.
Yeah.
If you check the last video, you'll see a full. I'm speaking about the dreams that I had, and the first one was the most bizarrest, but it was relevant to the shit that was in my system that was on me. And there's some, there was very deep spiritual dreams, and the meanings are slowly starting to come through, right? So I believe that my best friend was in the toilet because when she tells me something, I actually listen. Yeah, when she's serious, because she's a bundle of laughs. She doesn't usually she's not in the habit of telling people off for no reason. But when she pulls me up and has a word with me, it's something that's usually quite serious and needs looking at. Okay. So that's the reason why she was sat in the toilet with me. And then this guy come out of nowhere, sort of cutting, and we were cutting one another because the graphene substance that has been in those jib jabs, right, and that they've been put in through the water, probably in food, spraying, and also we can all assume that we have this in our system. And what's been coming through for me since the last time we spoke is that this is going to, I don't think it will stop your ascension, but it will definitely make it harder for you and bring about some hindrance. So it needs to come out. So my soul was very much guided to take this cleansing clay, the nano clay. I think I explained it in the last video, but I'll briefly go through it again. So basically, because this nanoparticle is so small, the body can't recognize it to cleanse it from the body. So this nanoparticle then sticks to this clay and the body goes, oh, that shouldn't be in here, and then cleanses it out of the system. Yeah. My second dream was a very soothing, very reassuring dream that it's okay, this just needs to happen, right? And there was guides around me at this point. And remember, I told you the third one was the psychic surgery, where the top of my thumb was cut off on my right hand and removed, and they took out like a gunmetal coloured metal cylinder from underneath my nail. So, I mean, it wasn't a nanoparticle, but it could have been representative of the graphene substance that we can all assume that we have in the body. Yeah. So that's come through more clear. I'll go back to my second night of dreaming, and I had, remember I said I had a vision and I had to draw it. I'm not going to speak about it yet. Well, I have actually drawn it. I need to improve the drawing because I've seen it again in a more creative light. But it was a goldfish bowl with a fish that was made up of 6 fishes. And the meaning has been coming through to me more that, well, goldfish is a good representative. Yeah, it's fortune, gold, right? It's fortune. But the 6 fish making one, to me, says togetherness, coming together, community, right? And the way that these 6 fishes come together to make one was so beautiful and so eloquent that you could just about see that it was 6 fishes, because it was so closely knitted that you'd have to really look at it to see that it was 6 fish. You just assume that it was one fish. So that oneness that we're all going towards is so close. It's so close. We've just got to step into this now, right? We need to realize we've been in a war, psychological, spiritual war. Yeah, and we're winning because we're hearing that governments are falling. Bye-bye, Mr. BJ. Yeah, and the rest of his cronies. And also, there's been some intel that I listened to this morning whilst I was watering the garden, that apparently the FBI were in Parliament, and that's come from several sources. Yeah, so why would they be in Parliament? So there must be some sort of investigation going on there. Yeah. Also, we've seen fires at the Vatican. Yeah. And some intel's come through that was cleansing of the dumbs that have been underneath the Vatican. You can watch, what's the guy's name? Babes, Nicholas, what's his surname?
Nicholas Vinyamin. He's very good.
Vinyamin, yeah.
He interviews SEALs, he interviews just like people who are in the military, people who are connected to Q. Like he connects with everyone, reaches him because he's just an innocent young London. I think he's from London, isn't he?
I think he's definitely from the UK.
He's a performer, and I think he just started like looking for the truth, and then suddenly.
Really, is he a performer? Yeah. I never knew that about him. Okay,
he's a singer. He's a singer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him. I think I love his soul. He's a beautiful soul, and I like the way how he interviews people. He just lets them talk, and he just pulls them up when they've been saying too many, like trigger words for this platform that likes to kind of, kick you off for saying certain things that they don't like, as we've experienced ourselves. I believe you got our second episode up, but my version was taken off, if you remember.
It's kind of why we have to be so careful, and we don't actually talk about politics because you get censored, so it's really difficult to even people that are now in some way in the forefront, because it's like, there has been some sort of a split. So there's thousands and thousands of people around the world that are now following people like Nicholas Vinyamin and not watching the TV, not watching mainstream media. There's like, they're not leaders, but they're like representatives of, real
news,
of the truth. So
it's real news.
And most of them are very humble, they're very humble people. So it just goes to show the kind of world we're moving into and how it's been created already, and it's, as you say, we're there, we are there, and now there's more signs, more than ever. So anyone out there that is still believing that C was all, it was a biological weapon, but right now it's not really there. But anyone who still believes that there's a fear out there, and people are very ingrained in the whole Ukrainian war, and all of these narratives that are created by the darkness for us to be in fear, to be constantly in fear. If you're still following that narrative, it's really exciting now, because there's a whole new world with more information about so many truths, and there's so much information that we can feed our souls with for us to actually understand and connect the dots, you know, and start seeing how the world is actually really created, and start seeing the matrix that we're living in. You know, once we start seeing that,
Yeah.
we can start healing our body. And that's part of, you know, the ascension, as what we're talking about. We're talking about ascension symptoms, right? But
Yeah.
you know, it's like for me, I was just thinking about this before when you were speaking about like all these really big signs now that are in your face. Literally, you cannot like, you know, BJ has gone down, has been removed. You know, that's part of the plan, I do believe. It's part of the white hat plan. And then there's this monument, you know, these stones that were knocked down, that those are part of the darkness.
The Georgia stones. Guide stones.
Yeah, so those have been knocked down. Then the Vatican's on fire. That's, you know, it's all signs. It's all signs that Babylon is falling. And when you take all of this that's happening outside of the world, yeah, and you relate it to what's happening inside your body, inside your world, this is part of the ascension. Yes, it's like all the darkness that is in the world is falling, it's crumbling, and we're seeing that. But also, if we can reflect that within and understand that all the darkness and all part of the system that was, you know, that was within our bodies, all the traumas, all the darkness, all the belief systems that we have been, that we have grown with, that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, all of this stuff is bubbling up now. It's all coming to the surface. Like, this is why we're getting high temperatures, like dizziness, nausea, you know, we're kind of out of balance because it's now no longer able to sustain within our bodies, you know. So, you know, whatever's happening in the world is a perfect reflection of what's happening within us. And that is why we need to understand that this is real now, you know. This is real now. It's the end of the darkness, and that's why we need to release all the darkness. Don't cover it up. Don't try and go to the doctor and believe that you have C when you're unwell, because it's not. It's ascension symptoms, you know, and we're all going through this. We're all going through this. We're moving into, it's like an upgrade of our operating system. You know, we're being upgraded. We're being upgraded from 3D to 5D. You know, we're being upgraded from 5 senses to multi-dimensional, unlimited possibilities, you know?
Totally agree with you. Just incidentally, I told you that I went for blood tests, right? Because I was having all these symptoms for quite some time, and I couldn't get why. So all my blood tests come back good or normal. Yeah, so there was absolutely nothing going on in the body. To you know, Western medicine's version of things. So it's definitely ascension symptoms. It was definitely, I think I went through the month of quite a hard run of it because of the graphene that was in my system. I think that made it that much more difficult for me to, it was like a pulling. Like, remember I said I was feeling like I was split. So it was like a pulling, like, it was almost like the graphene was trying to sort of keep me here, but obviously my soul and my body wants to go to that crystalline. So it was like a mini war, if you like, going on within my own body. Yeah. They knew exactly what they was doing when they created this, this nanoparticle. They knew exactly what they were doing, right? Hence the reason why it's so important for them, and it has been so important for them, to start putting it all in all the food, in the water. That's why water is imperative that you, I mean, a lot of people are doing filtered water. It really should be distilled. It should be distilled water. That I'm hearing that is the purest form of water. But do work with what you've got, as long as you're not drinking it straight from the tap, because you're really asking for trouble, because it's pure foolishness that's in there. And they've really upped the game. I mean, I've known, I'm sure you have, Amma, that they've been putting crap in the water for years. I've known this for like 20 years, but now at this precise moment, they're slinging their dummy out of the pram, and they're slinging everything they've got because they're on their last legs. So we can safely assume that that's in the system, and it's just going to make it a lot harder for your journey, your ascension journey. Yeah. Yes, we're going to have symptoms. I had a nosebleed just before we'd done this this chat, you know, and I have probably throughout since 2020. Since 2020, I've been getting nosebleeds on and off. And that's a classic ascension symptom. You know, aches and pains that you're not usually used to. It just means do more Qigong, do more yoga, do your 5 Tibetan rites, get up to 21 in them 5 Tibetan rites, you know, go for walks. Nothing has happened over the last couple of years that wasn't meant to, that wasn't part of God's plan. Everything that we've gone through has been God's plan. Totally. Yeah. Totally.
I would like to mention a little bit about the water, Debs. Last year, well, I've been in Mallorca for 2 years now. Like we all know that in Mallorca, the water don't taste like it oughta, right? Basically, the water's like, it's like salty, you know. So anyway, but in my mind, I knew, because I was starting to take all these superfoods and just really being good with my body and so on. And, you know, I suffered 10 years of severe chronic back pain from 30 to 40 years old. And I had a reduction of water in my spine, right? So for me, I drink a lot of water. It was really essential for me to drink water. And I know the importance of water because we're 80-90% made of water, right? Yay. So there's no point you taking all these superfoods and taking all these amazing foods and drinking really rubbish water, because again, as you say, it has fluoride, it has toxins, it has all the little metal bits from the pipes, especially in like big cities, you know, like it's and also when it's not spring water, when it hasn't been flowing, the molecules of the water are kind of dead, you know, it's like that they don't have life. So it was, for me, it was like, you know, trying to find spring water as well. And like, you know, bringing up 5-liter bottles every day is so heavy, you know. So I invested in a water system as well. And it's ionized water. It ionizes the water. So I started taking that. And I tell you that 3 months after taking that water, my whole system was, because I was feeling kind of like low. I was kind of still feeling quite heavy and quite tired and a lot of things to do. And I was also doing a lot in that time, like when I moved, because I was moving to a different place. But I just know that water really activates your body. And the more you drink it, and you know, if you find good filtered, you know, water, but even these normal filters, it's not enough. You really need to. No,
it's not. That's what I was going to say to you. Right. Can I just add there, because you've mentioned filter, this nanoparticle, you can't filter that. You can't filter that out of your water. Yeah, because it's too small, right? So they know, that's what I'm saying. They've been very clever with this contraption that they've put in everything, right? Because you can't even filter the bloody thing. Yeah. So that's why the distillers is what I've been, because you know, there's a lot of different technologies. Like there's lots of different versions of the Rife machine out at the moment. Lots of different filters and things to do with water. I mean, I do shungite. Yeah. And I've got a water filter as well, but I think I need to invest in a distiller. Yeah. So it completely makes the water completely clear of everything. And then you add nutrients to that and also vortex it. Because if you think of it, look at water, what it does in nature, it's always moving. It's never really still, it's always moving. Even if you see a really calm lake, there's still movement to that lake. Yeah, fish are in it, right, swimming around. Or if it's very stagnant, then that's when you get the parasitic influx, like mosquitoes generally come from that, and nasty algae, and it starts to smell and stagnant. Yeah. Right.
I think we could actually do a whole conversation on water.
On water alone. You're totally
like there's so much to talk about water, but I do, as I said, that is one of the things that you need to invest in, especially if you want to start healing, you know, and kind of working with the Ascension symptoms and coming out of them in a sane way. Like, I invested in this system and it's just amazing. Like, okay, I paid about 150 euros a month. It was about 3,500, but hey, I pay that a month, but I'm happy to pay that because I'm drinking water like mad. And I know that it's ionized, I know that it's clean, I know that it's, you know, that it's pure, you know. So, and then the other thing I was going to say from what you mentioned before, Debs, is the fact that when you explain how you're dealing with your Ascension symptoms. Now, a lot of people that might be listening to this have no idea of like, how come we have Ascension symptoms and what's going on? And so there's different layers, you know. It's like we have people like yourself and myself, we're kind of conscious and we're aware of like how important it is, because we're becoming, we're moving from a carbon-based to crystalline, yeah? And that's why all of the stuff's coming out, and we need to be aligned to doing the right things so that we can align our bodies, and so that, you know, we are lighter, we become lighter in some sense. So I think for us, it's a conscious agreement and intention, a daily intention to be doing the things that we need to do, and being aware of what happens to us, and then relating it, and, you know, because we can kind of see, okay, so that's happened to me because of this, you know, or the way you related your dreams, like, wow, you know, like I don't always remember my dreams, so that's something I'm trying to work on. But the fact that
if it's a spiritual dream, Amma, if it's a spiritual dream, you will remember it.
I will remember it, right?
Yeah, totally.
But I what I'm saying is that, like, it's crazy how your system, your operating system, your computer, you're getting all that information yourself. Like, you don't need to go to the exterior to find that information. Okay, so there's, you know, there's different layers of or basically different places where we are. Each one of us is in a different space, right? But I know totally. some people, some friends of mine that are not aware of any of this, you know, and for them it would be, you know, also it would be starting to be conscious of that and actually understanding, you know, why they need to be aware of that, you know, like why they need to be aware of what they eat, why they need to be aware of the water they're drinking, and you know, so we all have to do it in our own pace.
Yes.
You know, there's no better or bad or worse or you know, but it's doing it in our own pace, and it's knowing that if there's something wrong with you, if you're getting sick or if your friend's getting sick, then it's just having the calmness, you know, understanding that actually it's just part of your journey. It's part of our journey. We don't need to go to a hospital. We don't need to go to the doctor for them to remind us of what we need to do. We actually just need to listen to what's going on. We need to understand, okay, this is happening for me, not to me, and this is okay, you know? Maybe
that's going to be very difficult. That's going to be very, very difficult if someone's in a state of fear. And also if someone's still programmed and locked into the 3D way of doing things. So, you know, what you said there, I totally agree with, my dear. But, you know, as you've just said, we're all at different levels, right? And I think some people are going to go to I went to the doctor because it was going on for a month, and it was just like, oh, come on now. Do you know what I mean? Let me just go and get this sorted so I can just eliminate it. And I was actually happy to have my blood test come back, my blood test done, and get the results back, because then I can now draw a line under that. Okay, there's nothing else going on untoward, right? This is definitely Ascension symptoms. And it also, having that knowledge of getting my blood test back gave me more insight into those 3 nights of dreaming that I had. Yeah, it took me back to go back to that space, or those spaces, and look at what was going on from a different perspective.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that, like, it's good to have it as on the side, but like not totally give your power away. So just
totally. Yeah.
So use it for like confirming stuff, for analytics. Yeah. It's good for that.
Diagnosing.
Yeah.
Diagnosing.
Yeah, exactly. But don't just run when you feel something. It's like, you know. You know?
Soon, my darling, soon, obviously, because we know what's been going on, right, over the last couple of years, it's all come to a head, yeah? So we've known that the medical profession is not necessarily doing what it should have been doing over the last couple of years. We know this. So it's safe to say that that will fall, along with Parliament, along with financial system, medical system will fall. And there's going to be different technologies on every level. I was listening to a very good talk on, you know, okay, so we know about Tesla producing free energy, right? The Tesla systems, yeah? And we know that the flip side of that, what's the guy's name? Not Rockefeller, the other one. I think it is Rockefeller, isn't it? No, sorry.
Bill Gates.
No, babes, the light bulb dude. Is it Tennyson? I think it's Tennyson.
I don't know.
Who created the one that supposedly put, you know, the first light bulb, but it wasn't him. He kind of just nicked a lot of stuff from Tesla, right? They were working together. And he kind of took all the information and run with it, which is why we need to continually buy light bulbs. Well, we don't. There's technology out there where we don't need to continually buy light bulbs. I mean, it's like fashion industry now. It's throwaway society. Go to Primark and buy some clothes that some kids have, you know, run up on a machine and got machines run their hands under the machines and whatever horrendous things have been going on in them sweatshops, just so we can have cheap clothes. Throwaway society. So we don't, you know, it's kind of created this uncaring, self-entitled, crappy community or non-community. Do you understand what I mean? So it's just all come to a head now where firstly, people will be like, oh my God, there's not enough food. Or, oh my God, I can't shop at blah, blah, blah. And what are we going to do for light bulbs? And the internet's gone down. And I can't phone, you know, make my 72 calls to talk about absolute crap throughout the day. You know, all this is going to come to a head. So people need to step within themselves and start having the one communication that they actually need as their guiding tool, yeah, in order to go forward. For me, it's exciting, but I think some people are going to freak out when certain things start hitting the fan, which they are going to. Between now and October, I think, is going to be a real testing time for a lot of people that haven't been doing the work. And when I say doing the work, I'm not just talking about looking at your personal self, looking at the world around you and what's actually been going on.
Yeah, doing the research.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of people that meditate and they do their yoga and they do their thing, but actually they are asleep.
They have no clue.
They have no clue what's going on. They don't even understand why they, you know, like they're using their gifts, but there's so much more they need to know. Like they need to be learning more stuff. You know, it's important right now for all of us to be doing our research. Doesn't matter what level, where we are, you know, it's important for all of us to be doing this so that we can kind of, you know, sail through this wave or like, go through the wave in a way that it's subtle and we're not like bashing and kicking and like, you know, really like falling really drastically. Because, you know, what I've found with the Ascension symptoms is that, you know, you go through them and then it's kind of like you're kind of on a high and then you go down again and then you kind of go up again and then you go a little bit down again, and then you go up again and then it's so, you know, it's kind of like, whoa, it's like a, you know,
it's like a sound wave, isn't it? Like an oscillation of sound.
Yeah,
right?
It's a ride. But if you don't know what's going on, it's worse because you're like, you know, you can go. No, you can go. So someone who does not know what's going on and think that they're getting ill, psychologically, they will, in their mind, they'll think, oh no, that's it. I'm going, you know, I'm depressed. And then you're going all the way down. And it's going to be really hard to go up. It's going to be really hard, you know, because the denser it is, the harder it is right now. It's like also one thing that we need to do is when we are feeling depressed or when we're feeling low or when we're feeling in a way that it's not identifying to that feeling. Like when you go to a doctor, they label it, don't they? They say, oh, you know, you've got this or you've got that. And then if you go home thinking, okay, that's it, I'm depressed, or I have anxiety, or, you know, that's not going to help you with your ascension. So it's not saying, oh, I am this. It's actually saying, so if you get up in the morning and you say, oh, I feel really depressed today, I'm just going to watch a movie and not do anything all day because I feel depressed. Maybe intentionally say, okay, I have this feeling, this kind of low feeling, but I'm going to try and kind of turn that around. So not go, oh, I have this really low feeling, but I'm fine. I'm totally fine, because that's lying to yourself.
Yeah, totally.
You know, but if you say something like, you know, okay, I have this feeling, I have this emotion, but I'm going to try and turn that around, and I'm going to go for a walk and just think about the things that will make you feel better, and
do
just
something different. Change what you're doing.
Yeah. And put your mind somewhere else. Change your mindset, you know, change your mindset into something else. And then hopefully, you know, your day will be better. But yeah, don't identify to whatever is happening to you, because it's happening for you. So, you know, it's celebrating it and understanding that, you know, everything is good, you know, that a bad experience is good for you. It can be very good for you. There's lessons to be learned from everything, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the body is still communicating, whether it's, you know, you're feeling depression or you're feeling pain or aches or something's coming up. It's the body communicating to you. I just wanted to touch base on what you're saying about anxiety, because obviously I was like going through these spouts of sickness, having a runny tummy and then sleeping loads. And then I thought, okay, it's hay fever. So it was about, all right, do something different. Because every year for hay fever, what I generally do is go and pick some elderflowers and make some cordial, and it kind of lessens it each year. It's slow and gradual, but this year was off the hook. I can hear everyone around me sneezing, right? So I thought, okay, I need to do something different. So I thought, what vitamins? There must be a high dose vitamin that I can use. So I done a bit of research, went on to drthyself.com with old Andrew Soul, who's a wealth of information on high dose vitamins, and a great resource. So I recommend him. So I found that vitamin C deals with histamine, right? So I upped my vitamin C levels, and I also introduced oregano oil, which is a very powerful oil for a lot of ailments. Very powerful, yeah. So I done both of those as my morning ritual, and literally instantaneously, my hay fever just went, yeah. I had stuff coming out of my nose that needed to be cleared, that's fine, but there was no sneezing, there was no intense sort of runny nose sensations. So even though I've got my routine, and my routine generally keeps me in good state of well-being, I needed to do something different, because obviously my general routine wasn't working for me, yeah. So I needed to do something different. So that was the first thing I did. Then the feelings of anxiety that I was experiencing, I thought, okay, I'm drinking way too much coffee. I'm going to back up on the coffee. Mm-hmm. And what I'm going to do is do some herbal teas. So I've got some St. John's wort flower that I picked. I've got some pineapple weed, which is wild chamomile that I picked. Also hawthorn, which is good for the heart, because in my ancestral lineage, we've got heart issues. So I used hawthorn. And what was the other one? Ginkgo. Yeah, that's also good for depression, anxiety. So I made a combination of tea with these leaves and flowers and removed coffee. So those two simple things, boom, I'm back in the room. So it's about, what can I do differently to improve my situation? Okay, I've been given the diagnosis. That's great. Thank you, universe, for the information, because any diagnosis that you get is a gift. It's a gift for you to know which direction you need to heal yourself, because you're just slightly out of balance. And it's okay to be out of balance. Yeah, it's right about now at this time, it's okay to be out of balance because we are ascending. So of course, all of us are out of balance. Most people that I'm speaking to are like, I haven't really seen anyone. I've been a bit isolated, but I'm kind of okay with it because they need to sit with themselves. Everyone needs to sit with themselves at the moment. Yeah. So it might seem a bit kind of freaky if you're usually a social person, but right about now, that's the stage that most people are in. So it's just little fine tweaks that you can do to improve what works for you. And we're all individuals. We're all going through this ascension at different times because the universe isn't stupid. If it was all gonna, I mean, I'm not saying that when we're all going through different stages of our ascension. We're all ascending. But if we was to all ascend at the same time, I think if you think the world's mad now, it would be in the next gear up, most definitely.
I mean, I think the idea is that we all ascend in different times, so that others can assist the ones that are taking a little bit longer to see that this is what we are meant to be focusing on right now. And I think the main issue with us as humanity is that we have always run from the 3D way of doing things, like the five senses. We've always been used to the way our parents did things and our grandparents did things, and it's like we always have a cup of tea, or we always have coffee. Like our bodies are used to having coffee. It's like, no, I can't do anything without a cup of coffee. And it's the programming of being used to doing things in a certain way, and actually being able to shift that, being able to shift these tiny little things that you do in your life and do them differently is such a massive thing to do for a lot of people.
Yeah, totally agree.
Letting go of how you've been doing things all of this time. Yeah. And trying to change that. But it also comes down to how much do you love yourself? How much do you love your body? How much do you love your body? And this is the key thing as well for all of us in this ascension, is the primary thing is to love ourselves. Self-love. That's another thing that in this 3D world, we have not been taught, which is very different in the 5D place that we are ascending to, which is unity, oneness, the law of one. And it's all about, pure consciousness and just love. Like we are love, and we haven't been taught that. The darkness and the system that we have lived in thousands and thousands of years took that away from us. Mm-hmm. They took that away from us.
Try to. But the rebels in the group, the rebels.
Try to, but in the 60s, then also like the whole kind of, all the, the drugs and all of that, we started experiencing that again, right? That whole kind of connection, that, coming together again and being free and going wild. And that's why the 60s, 70s was so incredible, right? But like we have had that thing of like being told, you're not worthy, or you can't be free with your body, or you can't, it's just like, you're in charge, you are responsible, you have the ability to respond to your body, to your reactions, to what is happening in your body, in your temple, your cathedral, what holds your soul on this realm, in this reality, in this plane, and on this planet. And until we don't understand that, and also, it's slowly as well, Debs, because I found it really hard to let go of coffee, to let go of tea, to let go of my ways of things. Because when I had my back pain as well, I had to stop taking tea and caffeine. I had to stop doing certain things in a day. I had to change the way I'd wake up in the morning and come out of my bed. Like I had to put my legs down first, so that the weight of my legs would actually shove the whole of my body up, and I wouldn't be hurting using my muscles. I had to shift certain things because I had no other option, because I was in severe pain. So what we do, us humans, is we push and we push and we push until we're in pain, or in some illness or we actually have cancer until we actually realize that we need to change our ways, you know. And instead of waiting, because the ascension and the energies right now, if you're not shaking your body, if you're not moving the energy, and if you're not grounding enough, if you're not doing the things that you need to be doing, all of that energy is bubbling up. All of those energies are blocking in your body, and that then goes into your tissue and creates disease and cancers and creates illnesses and pains. So a lot of people are suffering pain in the body, and this again is ascension symptoms. So it's important to nurture ourselves and to be good with ourselves, to be able to, you know, to be able to make that shift, you know, because body pain and tension is massive right now.
Yeah. Like going back to what you're saying about, you know, people not wanting to give up coffee and stuff. I don't know why humans think drastically. Like, there's quite a power in giving something up for a week or just a few days. Just don't do it for a couple of days. And you know, a couple of days is probably it's quite hard for a couple of days, and then it starts to become easier. Yeah. So if you used to take coffee away for just 1 week and then slowly introduce it back into the body just by having a cup, and then you'll see how it makes you feel. There's a power in that.
Yeah.
Because there's something that we like habits. I don't know why. Maybe it's a comfort to us, but we do like habits, and through habits, attachments are formed. And once you've got an attachment to something, it's quite difficult to let it go. That could be that could be people, it could be friendships, relationships, a job, the type of money that you're used to. You know, to sometimes you've got to clear a space to bring something new in. So just on the really simple thing of coffee, remove coffee, start drinking chamomile tea. That's the complete opposite of coffee. A bit of chamomile tea, right? And then have 1 cup of coffee a week later and see how it makes you feel. See if you start getting anxious. Yeah. Because or actually, I won't put any labels on it. That sometimes is my experience. I like coffee. I'm a coffee drinker. However, I buy my own beans so I can see it's a bean, yeah, and it's an organic one, and I grind it myself, yeah. So there's nothing being ground in with that coffee, right? There could be things that they're spraying on it, but I trust that it's organic. My soul is happy with that type of organic bean that I buy, right? That's my choice, yeah. But there's a lot of, and I'll take coffee as a very good example. When it's not organic, it's sprayed with lots of chemicals, and then it's roasted to probably way too high a temperature. So most of the nutrients that are actually in that bean are gone. Yeah. And then you've got to pour hot boiling water over it. That's a chemical reaction right there, right? How many processes has that one bean gone through? And people say, yeah, but it's coffee, it's natural, it's a bean, it grows, and, you know, yeah, but it's the processes between it being grown wherever it's grown and getting to your household. There's a lot of processes. So if we can limit the amount of processes and trust that if it's an organic bean, there's nothing sprayed on it, right? The roasting we can't really have control on unless we buy green beans and roast them ourselves, so we know how long it's been roasted, so the temperature isn't too high, so it's still got some of its natural flavonoids in it and its properties. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So that you'll probably find that you wouldn't be able to drink too much of that coffee because it's loaded. 1 cup, you're going to get all the zing that you need, and it's gonna do, rather than the eight cups, because you're actually not getting enough of what this bean can potentially give you. Yeah, and we just get addicted to the caffeine side of it. Oh, I've got to have you know, because your nerves, it affects your nervous system, so you're just addicted to that you've got to feel this kind of
Yeah.
angst all the time.
Yeah, and there's other things like, I mean, I sometimes you can kind of fool the body. You can fool your, like, for example, when I try to stop drinking coffee, I would probably just have like decaf and like pretend that it was kind of like doing something, but I knew that it didn't have any caffeine. But even that was not great. But it was like also, for example, like I don't drink alcohol at home. So I got myself a little bit of fizzy water. So instead of drinking just water all the time, I might have like a wine glass and put some ice and a slice of lemon with some fizzy water. And that's like it's my like magical moment. Like, this is it, right? But I've got used to it now.
Yeah.
And it's okay, you know, and I don't really want to drink wine. I don't, because I can feel what it does to my body now, you know. And
it's poison, man. It's poison.
Yeah, and even just
with
like
drinking at all.
Yeah. Or like beer, like for my party, I had rum and coke, you know, but that's okay, you know, once in a while. But like, I know that it's not good for me, because then the next day I feel rough. And like the coffee also, it gets me jiggity. And then I'm just like, because I'm nervous anyway, I'm super hyper anyway. And then I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then I'm stuck on my Telegram, and I'm stuck on my Facebook, and I'm stuck on, and it's just like, you know, and it's just like, it doesn't help. It doesn't help, you know. And, you know, even like little things like sage, you know, just like burning sage. If you burn sage in your house, right, Debs?
Yeah.
It just gives you that sense of like, it releases anxiety, you know, the smell of it. When you put it all over your house, the smell of it.
Apart from if you set fire to your carpet, which
you don't want to set fire to your carpet.
Which I've done on numerous occasions, for God's sake. Yeah.
Oh, I've done that.
Don't recommend that.
A couple of times, but with candles. But basically what I'm saying is that little things like these are things that you can introduce into your life to make it easy for you, you know, like look at where you're taking, what are you eating? And even like meat and fish as well, it has toxins. And one of the main thing about Ascension is that we need to release all the toxins, and obviously the nano stuff that's been stuck in our system now, but the toxins as well. And we're going to do another podcast on nutrition, actually, just to get rid of all of these toxins, and how we can do that, and what we can do to better what we're eating, you know, because as well as what we're eating, as well as what we're listening to as well. Like, that's another thing I wanted to point out before I forget is, you know, like the anxiety and the Ascension symptoms and all of the stuff that we're feeling and the illness and stuff, it doesn't help when we're watching like stuff to do with the darkness and news, and it really doesn't help. It's much better for you to get used to, instead of going to see what's happening in the world today, okay, let me just put an angel frequency on. Let me just put a healing frequency on YouTube, and let me just lie down and let me just go into sleep. Because that, when you find those spaces of silence, that is when your guides and your angels and, you know, the higher realms can actually start speaking to you. That's when the light technicians can start doing the work in your system and help you with the upgrades. You know, that's when the magic happens. So it's finding as well those spaces, you know, not always filling up our head with, I'm the first one that does that. Like, I'm like, you know, I have to make myself let go of my screen and actually just lie down and meditate, or just don't do anything for a minute. And then suddenly I have things come to me, even if it's just walking my dog, or, you know, I do get things come to me. But if you don't allow those spaces, you're just up here all the time and you're not feeling well, and you're not evolving. You're not evolving.
Totally in a headspace, and that's not the space to be right about now. You've got to connect with heart. Heart energy is the one right now, and always been the one. Yeah, we just got sidetracked by these lower frequencies, these lower frequency beings, right? That have just sidetracked us, because the human body, as I've said in another video that come up on an iboga ceremony, the human body is the most sophisticated computer on the planet. And it's safe to say that it has tried to, beings have tried to hijack this. So as well as there being a war outside that we're witnessing, there's also a war in here going on, right? And it's, what do we attune? What are we putting into this body? What are we, what are we watching? What are we listening to? Music. We spoke about music before, right? Some of those frequencies, the subliminal messages that are in the music, subliminal messages that are in the films and the programs that we watch. Yeah. Some of the words that we read and adhere to, and some of the words that we speak, because we've been programmed. It all needs to be unlearned. It all needs to be seen. It all needs to be unlearned, and it needs to detoxify from the system. And this is part of the ascension.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's like okay, so it's the 5 senses in the 5D, in the 3D world that we're living in. It's the 5 senses. Be aware of your 5 senses. Yeah. So what are you seeing? Be conscious of what you allow to enter in your sight. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you what are you eating?
What are you speaking?
What are you speaking as well? What's coming out of your mouth? And what are you feeling? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? What are you enhancing your emotions to feel? And that all comes, it comes on like what you're seeing and what you're hearing. Yeah, so it's kind of like, and also what you're eating is what makes you feel what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that our emotions are definitely how our body speaks to us.
Definitely. And you've mentioned
us through our emotions. So it's looking after those 5 senses so that we can then move into this kind of unlimited way of living and actually start connecting with our other intuition, like our intuitive senses, which have been so blocked, like the pineal gland, like all of these different chakras that we don't know about. Like literally our DNA has been activated, our 12-strand DNA, the 12 chakras that we have, not 7, they are being activated. And that is what it is to be ascending. This is why it's so important to clear the chakras. It's so important to cleanse them. It's so important to be in balance. That's the work that we have to do.
So you mentioned the 5 senses, and you also mentioned smudging, right? So when we have these cleansing smells around us,
that's the one I forgot.
like frankincense, like the Palo Santo sticks, like white sage, burning oils. I love burning oils like lavender, rosemary. Rosemary is really good for the mind. It calms the mind and brings about positive thinking. Lavender is the first aid essential oil. So that brings about relaxing, calm way of being and feeling, because all our senses, we're very sensitive as human beings, right? So if we are engaging nicely with our senses, it brings about a place of calm and centeredness. So yeah, well done for picking that up with the 5 senses. Yeah, because
it's like they've got us trapped. We're trapped.
Yeah.
Our mind is trapped. This is mind control. This is mind control. So we have no idea about our senses. This is new to us.
Yeah.
It's new to us. So this is why we need to take those moments to be connecting with those senses, for sure. And it's really interesting what you're saying, like how all of these different smells can take you to different places. But even like walking on the beach.
The smell of the sea. Oh, lovely.
It gives you a sense of freedom. Like in Mallorca, like, I've got a beach about 30 minutes away, but you walk on the beach, but then you have the smell of the sea and the sand underneath your feet. But you also have pines, the pine trees.
Yeah.
The smell of the pine trees, and just like the wind, the breeze, even if you're walking in the park, the smell of the grass, the smell of Mother Nature, all of that triggers something inside you that reminds you how connected you are to Mother Earth and how you are part of this planet, how you are connected to everything around you, and how we are all connected with one another as well.
Yeah, definitely. So speak kindly to the self and others. I guess some of us that are evolving in the ascension I'm learning this myself, is to have compassion and patience with people that just aren't seeing what's going on, which is really difficult, because it's kind of like flipping back to the beginning of 2020. It's kind of like, you know, there's someone with a knife behind you, and they're just like, oh. You know, it's difficult. You know,
I think now yeah, sorry, Debs, carry on.
It's all right. It is testing, but we're getting there. We're winning. We are seeing signs of governments falling. You know, the people rushing the parliament in Sri Lanka has been quite amusing to watch, and like see them all jumping in the swimming pool. But also what they notice is a couple of people that have been interviewed with the incident in Sri Lanka, when they can see the absolute wealth in the Prime Minister's home, and they're saying, well, no wonder he can't govern a country, because he's got too many distractions in his house with swimming pools, a personal gym, and all this, you know, that's where all the wealth's gone. But the people can't afford to eat. There's queues, kilometre lengths of queues for them to fill up petrol and gas, and it's just shit. But it's a good example as to what they actually had planned for us. And there's certain pockets, unfortunate, there's certain pockets in the world that this is actually a thing. This is their reality. Yeah. So
I think also one of the reasons why I think people are starting to see it, and the truth is out there now. So, you know, it's about, you know, those who haven't believed it and so on. You know what? It's okay. Just get off the horse. It doesn't matter. There's no ego in this new world that we're coming into. You know, we're all from the heart and we're all connected. So, you know, whether you didn't see it before and now you're seeing it and you feel a bit, oh, okay, you know, and you're a bit confused, just, you know, start getting into this, like start looking at the research, start finding out what you can do, start finding out how you can heal, start finding out how to release your shadows, you know, eat well, and do it because you want to help the rest of humanity, because there's so much to be done. There's so much to be done, you know, as well as we all want to, like, you know how everyone, you're trying to make the planet green and everyone's trying to recycle, and you know how everyone makes such a big effort to do that. Well, that's not what we need to be focusing on now, because that's part of the narrative. That is part of the deep state, okay? Because actually the planet is getting colder, not warmer right now. So that's what I've been told. But anyway, that is all part of the deep state narrative. So, you know, let's not, you know, waste time on trying to do all of those good things for humanity. And let's start looking in, you know, inside of us and start realizing that, yeah, actually the world is not as I thought it was. And it's okay. And I'm going to sit down for a minute and I'm just going to learn a little bit more. And I'm going to have more knowledge of like how this world works. And I'm going to realize how powerful I am. And then I'm going to grow. You know, it's like moving from the cocoon into a butterfly. We are all in the cocoon. We don't even know what's going to happen in 10 years time. Like we have an idea, but actually feeling that, we have no idea how beautiful it's going to be, but I can feel it, you know. And I think it's imagining that we're all in the cocoon, right? And we are rebirthing. This is our opportunity to be born again and to grow into these beautiful butterflies and to have the opportunity to learn all of these new things, you know. And it's like start afresh. It's okay. Let's press the reset button. Yeah, let's switch on. Let's press it on now. Let's just restart as we do when we recycle, we reuse. You know, we're good enough to do that. We can also reset our button.
Yeah, I mean, no one can change any of us. We you know, the one thing we have here, the one gift that we have here is free will. So if you want to live in a better world, the change starts with you. You know. Yeah. Start doing things more from the heart space rather than the head space and the personal gain, because we're all wealthy and that's coming. That's going to be apparent whether we choose to take that upon ourselves or not, because there's also information that we get various intel in our group, Bella Emotion, right? But there's so many things that are coming out now for us to gain personal wealth, that it's not going to be a thing. Yeah, we're not going to have to go to work on this treadmill. Yeah, for like, you know, in London, I think it's quite common for people to work 6 days a week. So they're accustomed to it and they're used to it now. But actually, what can you create? Can you even eat properly when you're working 6 days a week? Because what you're going to be doing is doing flyby visits to Subway or whatever, Mackie D's at worst case scenario, or whatever stuff that's out there. When you're eating out, you're going to be eating commercial salt, commercial oils, these mass-produced things that these cafes and restaurants get in, because it's the cheapest way for them to actually make a living. So they buy this cheap produce, right? It's not the best way for us. So, you know, you're working 6 days a week isn't healthy. Yeah, eating out isn't healthy. Yeah, it can be, but then you spend $1 for it. And most people are working those 6 days because they haven't got the wealth.
Yeah.
They can't afford to eat in them places.
Yeah. And it's also a time to change our mindset, you know, like not to always think, oh my God, you know, what's happening with the world? It's also depressing. It's changing our mindset and saying, actually, the butterfly coming out of the cocoon, actually, this is a new way, is a new opportunity. Oh my God, you know? I mean, I'm learning now, and I'm trying to put that into practice with abundance, you know, like I haven't had a job for a while. I closed down my business. My online dance has taken a bit of time to set up. So I've been doing some cleaning here and there, and I'm struggling financially, but I'm trying to learn. My lesson is not to like get agitated and think, oh my God, I have nothing. I've got to go and find a job, and I've got to, because that creates anxiety. It creates worry. It creates low frequency vibration in my system. And therefore I cannot manifest when I'm doing that. So my learning is to sit back, and I'm allowing that to happen and actually manifest my abundance, just literally sitting and being with joy. And with my business, I remember when I was missing a cleaner or something like that, I would just trust, and the universe would always somehow, either a client would cancel or a cleaner would just turn up from nowhere. Somehow universe would provide. And I'm trying to put that into practice in my life now. I don't have a business, but I'm just trying to put that into practice now. And actually, it is unbelievable, the power of our minds and how we can create stuff by literally just surrendering, being in that feminine divine energy, and that's where we're going now. And that is part of our ascension. It's learning to just be, you know, and it's not about do anymore. It's shifting that.
Thinking as well, that constant thinking. Oh, I've got to read it. Also, can I just bring up, right, that what I've noticed, even in our group, Amma, right, there is a constant spewing of, they've done this to us, you know, Mr. B Gates and what he's done, blah, blah, blah. You know, we know, well, maybe people are starting to get to know, but there's a lot of us that know this now. So are we going to continue talking about these people?
No.
Because personally, for me, that energy's done. It's dead. And I don't mean that lightly. It's dead. It's done. Light. That's what I want to focus on. Where am I going as a person? What's new? What's the 5D world going to look like for me? Where am I going to fit in with that 5D world? You know, what's my body going to be like when it's crystalline? Wow. So far I've come up with no disease, right? I don't feel we're going to need these things. You see these screens, right? And I've said this for years. This smartphone makes us dumb, right? Why does it make us dumb? Because I believe in telepathy. Yeah, I believe in telepathy. And you can see when you're hanging around with someone, right? And you think something, but they say it. Have you ever had that, Amma?
Yeah, no, I do that with my sister-in-law.
Right, there you go. All the time, right? All the time, right? Because you've built up a connection. Yeah. But we can do, like, we actually done it this morning, because I was like, wow, I've got to touch base with, or was it like yesterday? It was yesterday. I was like, I've got to touch base with Amma, and I realized it was late, right? And you're an hour ahead of me. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll touch base with her tomorrow. And you left me a message. So, you know, like we had to touch base to do our chat. and you'd already come through. So we don't need these.
No, we really don't. No, but you know what? I totally believe in that as well. I know that, well, I've been told that in the time of Atlantis, these technologies were used, you know, people would just communicate in that way. And basically we are being given this information now, but until our vessels are clear, we cannot apply this. You know, we need to be like ascended masters walking on the planet, literally. And for that, we need to have got rid of all of our triggers, all of our ego lessons need to be done. We need to be clear of anything that is part of the old system. And yeah, it's about knowing what you can do now. What can we do now? Like, I literally went to like a protest here in Mallorca last year, and I was trying to set up my a dance party, a conscious dance party, and it was about activating the heart, activating the love within. And this is why it's so important. It's not about the darkness anymore. So in the protest, I was like, okay, guys, we know that we don't want to be with the dark. We know about the dark. We're aware of the dark. So we're aware of that. So let's be with the light. Let's start working on our love. There's so much work to be done. Yes. We have not been taught how to love. We have not been taught. This has not been taught. No one has taught us this. Not even our parents, not our ancestors didn't know how to do this. How to live from the heart. They were not allowed. And that's the work we need to be doing. And that is why it's so important, as you say, Debs, to speak about the light and work towards the light. And that's why all the information of the darkness, it's great for those who don't know about it. But those who know about it, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time. And I think we do need to put a pause on that on our channel. Like, just basically
we've been speaking about that
a little bit, because I don't resonate, and I'm not interested in reading more information about Pfizer. I'm just not interested in that. It's gone for me. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, we know that was part of their game. But what's our game? We need to start building our game, our new communities, our new ways of being. Like, what are we going to do? You know? And also clearing our vessels so that we can start, you know, speaking with each other, with our minds, like connecting. But the most important thing is to be in our hearts, because it's going to be a heart way of being now. So if you're not resonating from the heart, abundance will not come to you. So you can do anything you want, but quantum energy is going to work. It works from the heart, and you heal from the heart, right, Debs? Everything is from the heart.
Definitely. And I think all these new technologies that are coming out as well, that will be coming out, like I said about, you know, like the light bulbs and things like that will change, because there's no reason why we need to keep buying light bulbs and buying stuff and things and creating rubbish. There's no need for us to be living like that. It's going to be more minimalistic. Yeah, because we'll be able to manifest what we need in that moment. Boom, like that, in a thought. Yeah. And I truly believe that is what being in a crystalline body is. And when you think about that, right, it may seem really far-fetched for some people that aren't quite there yet. Yeah. If you think about that type of body, that type of being, towards what we are coming from now, right? No wonder some people are feeling aches and pains, or having nosebleeds, or forgetting certain things that they were doing in sort of mid-flow of their day, because that is one leap right there. 3D to a crystalline body that can manifest what it wants in a thought. Boom. Yeah? That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's like I'm learning about how to activate your Merkaba. These are new technologies. I have teachers that I follow, and these are new technologies that are coming in now. And the Merkaba is like, it represents, it's like a crystal that we have within us. It's part of our crystalline system. Yeah. So once you activate the crystalline system, you know, through different meditations, you can manifest whatever you want so quickly, you know, and I'm working on that right now, but everybody can do this. Everybody can do these things, you know, like, it's just, we need to do the work.
Yeah.
We need to do the work, but it's coming, sister. So on that note, What do you want to end with? Talking about Ascension symptoms, give like a couple of words out of like positive vibes for people who are feeling these Ascension symptoms. What can they do? And like,
well, Ascension symptoms and the Ascension. I mean, it is the Great Ascension. We're all sort of going through our own symptoms in our own way. I would recommend change it, like what we spoke about, really. Change a few things up, you know, like if you have a routine where you're generally healthy, but you're still feeling sick, maybe just take something out of your daily routine or increase something in your daily routine. But connecting with my soul really helped me. You know, my ego was very much throwing its dummies out of the pram because it's dying. I do believe that my ego is dying, you know, so all those carbs and sugars that I was craving, well, carbs are sugar, you know, all that crap is going to deplete me of nutrients like zinc, like vitamin D, like vitamin C. Yeah, because as you said earlier, you can trick the body, right? So when you're absorbing things like carbs that turns to sugar, sugar can trick the body, which is why sugar's in everything. I mean, look at what the 3D food production has been about and what's in there. Lots of fats, lots of poor salts, and lots of sugars. You start removing those from your diet, things are going to be a lot easier. If you look at buying maybe less food that is of a high value in its qualities, in its nutritional value, then you're going towards the right direction. Yeah, because if a food is full of nutrients, it's going to serve you better. Make sure it's organic. Yeah, drink plenty of water. And if you need to remove people that aren't giving you bliss, remove them. It's fine. It could just be temporarily, it could be forever, who knows what, whatever, but it's all in divine order. Just go with the flow. You?
Yeah, all of that. All of that. And yeah, just be good with yourself, you know? Like if one day you don't do what you were supposed to do, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself because that's the masculine way. Just flow and be good. Okay, you know what? I didn't do it today. I'll just do it tomorrow, and it's fine. You know, it's a process. You know, it's a process, and just make sure you ground every day. Make sure you ground. Yeah. Make sure you ground, and make sure you're grounding into the crystalline core, 5D core of Mother Earth, not just into the roots, but imagine that you're connecting to the crystalline grid. Okay, that's really important. Drink lots and lots of water, and yeah, just minimize who you speak to, minimize the stuff that you're doing. Like, just do the stuff that brings you joy. You know, what is it that brings you joy? You know, and if meeting that friend does not bring you joy, just don't do it. You know, you're in charge. Be responsible. Have the ability to respond to what you need, because you're first from anyone else. You are first, and then your family, and then your children, and then your friends. Because, you know, once you look after yourself, you're looking after the planet, and you're looking after your ascension. You're making sure that you're moving forward, and that's it, really.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channels. And you can also find us at Bella Emotion on Telegram, where we have a lot of intel. And yeah, other than that, happy ascending, people.
Where can we find you, Debs? Because you do quantum healing as well. You can help with clearing the shadows, right?
Yeah, totally. So that's debbiegiles.com. You can find me. And also via Bella Emotion.
So we'll leave all the details underneath in the description.
Yeah. And
also, if you want to activate the body, if you want to energize the body and you want to dance, I have a lot of music and dance sessions that you can find on Amazie_music on Telegram. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And I also have a website as well, amaziemusic.com. And join us on Bella Emotions, because I share everything in there as well. So lots of love, guys. Keep well, keep safe, be good. And love yourselves.
Take care, babes. We speak soon, yeah?
Bye.
Bye.